other people in the community.
I've got some extra copies, but I can send Jim the digitized version of it, and so you can have it. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
So what about the 1099 part-time membership? Does that count on the hours?
No. 1099ers, I went off a different path mentally. The 1099ers are not anything you got to be concerned about because they don't work for you. They just provide you services. They actually have their own company and they're doing or working for somebody else, and you just contract them. So that doesn't mind. And there was at one time when this law came out a requirement that if you spent more than $600 with another corporation, you had to issue that company a 1099. Well, the IRS, now when the IRS says something stupid, you got to believe it's stupid. And so the IRS said we see no value in that, and that has been repealed. It is absolutely no longer in the law. You stop and think about Marriott. And just a hotel, just pick a hotel. And the people come in and spend $600 with them, they got to issue a 1099. I mean, that's ridiculous. We wouldn't have a tree standing in the whole country. So, but that was gone. Yes, sir. Pardon?
How would they enforce it?
Just like before.
That's a good point too. I mean, how are they going to enforce some of this stuff? It's just like, in most cases, if you get an EEOC complaint or you get a discrimination complaint, somebody got mad because of something you did and picked up the phone and dialed the government and said, these naughty people have just been all over me, and in comes your auditor. But there are too many of us out here that are doing business that, they'd have to have one IRS auditor for every company in order for them to make it really painful. But, who knows? Maybe they will do that. So, any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm very sorry come late because I made 2 accidents on the peach tree industry park right now.
You weren't involved in either one of them, were you?
No, I'm not involved.
Okay.
Other people. Fortunately, I'm not involved. So I missed you speak. So can you give me some material?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. These are all of the slides that we did. Oh, you've got that. It's got the same thing.
This is the same thing?
Yeah, it's the
Okay,
same thing.
I
It's the
already
slide. And I'll be glad to go over them with you in a second. I'll go over them with you.
Okay, I appreciate it.
You're my pleasure.
I have a question regarding.
Yes, sir.
Can you address a little bit about the self-employment or people in the 1099 situation? What's the actual impact?
Well, the question is, can I tell you what impact the 1099ers will have on their own company? If I'm a 1099 employee and I'm working for you, if you have 2 or more employees, you and one other employee, it's going to have some impact.
Right.
But if you don't, if you're just a single subcontractor providing services for another company, I don't see this having much of an impact on you. You're going to have to buy your own health insurance because when that mandate kicks in 2014, you're going to be required to do that. But I don't see any of the other pieces being negatively impacted. If there are, I haven't heard anyone address it specifically. Yes, sir.
The critical question is, okay, if Ronnie, okay, win the election, okay, Republican win the election, okay, so what happened?
That's a good question. If the question was, what happens if Romney wins the election? What happens to this? Well, he made statements that he would, through executive order, have this law taken down. He cannot do that. That's not within his power. In order for him to do anything about this law, he's got to have a majority in the Senate and a majority in the House of Representatives. If Obama retains the presidency and there's a majority in the House and the Senate, they can override a presidential veto, but it takes a 2/3 majority to do that. So, if the first thing we're going to hear, and just get ready for this, the first thing we're going to hear, it's too expensive to repeal the law. It will cost us, pick a number, $2 trillion to repeal the law. Well, the reason they're saying that is, just remember that $2,500 cap on flexible spending accounts. The reason they got rid of that is there's more tax revenue coming in because we're we're buying those services with after-tax dollars. And so this is just think of just a series of worms wiggling their way through all of these, and it's going to be expensive to repeal it, but they're using the tax savings that they have built into it. I don't know if you know this or not, or paid any attention to it. beginning this year, there is a tax on implants. Don't answer this question out loud. But what are implants? How about this? Heart, hip, knee, tooth, all of those are implants. And there is a tax penalty on top of all of that right now. Right now. If you go have an implant, a tooth implanted, that's considered an implant, and there's a tax penalty on it. There's all kinds of stuff. And I don't know exactly what year it kicks in, but if you sell your home and you make over a certain amount of profit on that home, it will be taxable. I think the profit's $250,000. Is that a right number? I think it's right, $250,000. So in today's market, we're all safe. There's no way we're going to make $2.50, let alone $250,000. So if when the market returns, and we can now be above water instead of underwater, then you got to watch out for that sort of thing. And those things are all kinds of stuff like that's been weaved in and out of the in other things. Yes, sir.
I'm still not quite sure about this threshold. So what is the, so right now, I mean, with the new plan, if I have 8 employees in the company, am I required to provide health insurance?
At this particular point in time, no.
Okay.
January 2014, yes. Either provide the insurance or pay the penalty.
What if they refuse?
The employees,
Join the plan.
the employee is required to buy insurance, or they have a tax penalty that starts out, oh my gosh, it's like $250 the first year, and then it escalates up to it's a couple $1,000.
Well, that means they just don't want to buy insurance, period. But what if they join their spouse or they buy on their own?
That's fine. If they join, if you have an employee and you provide insurance, and that employee is not going to join your plan, but it joins the spouse's plan, there's no penalty for you on that. There's no penalty.
How much you compare the exchange and the insurance company? You have any idea about?
The rules are supposed to be that the insurance in the exchange cannot be any less expensive than the insurance on the open market. Now, the reason for going to the exchange piece of this is an employer, number one, says, I'm not buying insurance. Okay, there's one reason. The other reason is if the employee's income, you're going to love this one, so just let me get you ready for it. Do you know what the federal poverty level? An employee can earn 400% of the federal poverty level and qualify for a credit through the exchange. Who can tell me what 400% of the federal poverty level is for a family of 4?
What, a month?
No, a year. What is considered the federal poverty level income that qualify?
8,000.
How much?
8,000?
8,000. 20,000. All right, here we go. Are you ready? $92,000. If you are an employee, now family of 4 that earns, and it's $92,380 or something like that. But if you earn $92,000, up to $92,000, you qualify for a credit through the exchange. How about a family of 5?
So you're saying 4 times, so divided by 4, so the poverty level
26,
of
about
whole
26.
family is around 25,000.
It's something like 18,000, something like that, yeah. For a family of 5, that's 102,000, I believe it is. I got some bad news for you all. I raised a family of 5, and I did not make $92,000 from those kids from growing up. Not in any one year. Not if you add my wife's income to that. So I'm going back and get a refund.
One question, so if I'm a 1099, how would I buy insurance through the exchange?
You can buy it through the exchange, or you can buy it through the open market. If you buy it through the exchange and qualify, you can get a tax credit. If you buy it through the open market, you could call your insurance agent or get an insurance agent. I qualify, and just tell them you want an individual policy, and you can buy it that way. And you can compare them with the exchange too.
So if it's not affordable?
If it's not affordable.
If I say it's not
If
affordable
it's
for me, I
like
don't want it. As a
Yeah,
tenant.
if it's an old person, you're talking about $5,000 a month.
Actually, the
There's no
plan
controllable amount or something.
the plan has to be It has to contain essential benefits. Now, your company's plan may have, I'm going to make some stuff up, may have $1,500 80% plan with a $25 office visit, something like that. A plan with essential benefits may not have that richness in it, but they are essential. They have the wellness, they have emergency room, ambulance care, and doctor office visits, and that sort of thing, but they may not have some of the other bells and whistles in it. So it should be less expensive. I can't tell you what that would look like because nobody's priced one out that I've seen.
But it's more expensive. Even the limited medical, they're not considered as the minimum benefit.
They won't have minimum essential benefits in them. That's exactly
so the
right.
Limited benefit would not work.
No, limited benefit. The plans that we know today is limited benefits
yeah.
won't work. That's correct.
We already said that there's no minimum requirements. I mean, even 8 employees also need to mandatory to offer insurance to.
If you're an employer, you're going to have to offer insurance. Now, I'm not sure. You just said something that made me think I may have told him some bad information. I'm not sure that penalty kicks in until you got more than 50 employees, but I'm not 100% sure that there's some incentive for the under 50 to buy insurance, because I fall under that category too. But I'll get you some more information on that. I'll send it to Jim. We'll get it. The reading on this thing just goes on and on and on and on and on. But
most people is, I think it's 50 and less here in the Chinese market.
yeah, I would expect that. I fall in that same category too. But there's something that I can't pull out right now that affects us as well, the under 50.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Sure.
For those currently receiving Medicaid benefits, right, individual families, what's after this new law take effect, what's the responsibility? Was government push the Medicaid out and handle by themselves? The government Medicaid program will expand, supporting more people with low income.
Okay. The question is, people that are currently on Medicaid, what happens when this program kicks in? There's a big, one of the things that the Supreme Court said in the Supreme Court ruling was that the law was effective, it's legal, but they cannot force the states to change their Medicare level. So Medicaid is still considered an eligible benefit. So if somebody's covered by Medicaid, they would have what they need to have coverage and avoid any personal income tax consequences on that. But the states do not have to expand Medicaid as the law originally intended. That was struck down by the Supreme Court. Yes, sir.
One more question, sir, about the donut hole.
The donut hole.
The donut hole, okay. How this plan will affect the donut hole?
Well, the donut hole is Medicare D for drugs, and I don't think, well, this will not affect Medicare D, but Medicare D has had some modifications, so that donut hole is supposed to be going away. I cannot tell you exactly what that meant. I just know that the Obama administration has done something to modify that donut hole. But I tell you how you can find out. If you'll go to the Social Security website, there's just a boatload of good information on there. And so you can find out about Medicare D. And does anybody in here have employees working for them now that are age 65 or older? Anybody have anybody in their companies got age 65 and older? If you do, if you don't think about it right now, but if you realize tomorrow that you do have somebody that meets that qualification, you need to go on the website with the two things you have to do. You have to go on the website with the Department of Health and Human Services and certify that your plan's drug coverage is richer than Medicare D. But you only have to do that if you have somebody over 65 that's on your health plan. If they're on Medicare, off on their own, doesn't matter. Excuse me. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I have a question on the coverage. So is there a minimum requirement on what kind of coverage you have to select?
Your coverage has to meet the minimum essential benefits, which is an underwriting value of 60%, and that's going to be, the government has released part of this, but I don't have a plan design, just like But there is a minimum, you've got to meet the minimum essential requirements in order to have a qualified health plan. But that's coming, that again hits in 2014, and we've got some time on much of this stuff, depending on what happens with the election this year, whether it stays or goes or gets modified. But these are just
So
some
you
things.
think will happen anyway, regardless of who's winning this election?
What was the first part of that?
I say this law will effective anyway, you know.
Well, it's effective, but if the Republicans take over control like they said, they will undo it. The House has already passed 3 or 4 resolutions to throw the law out. But it never gets to pass the Senate. If it got past the Senate, it'd never get past the President. So it's kind of an exercise in, we did what we said we did.
A question about Supreme Court decision after Supreme Court, Ronnie said, I can do this, do that, what's that about?
Well, the Supreme Court rules on the legislation.
Right.
And the Supreme Court says, okay, we got this, and we say it's legal. The Congress can come back and say that law goes away. Then it doesn't matter what the Supreme Court does. It doesn't
Ronnie
exist.
said something after that. What's he talking about that?
Romney?
Yeah.
Romney says he's going to have repeal the whole thing. He'll just have the entire law repealed.
Yeah, just after the Supreme Court decision, and
Yeah.
he talked about something I'm quite proud of that.
Well, the Supreme Court ruled on the legality of the law, but they can repeal, the Congress can repeal any law up there, which means that it doesn't exist anymore.
Two-thirds
It's
majority.
Congress, it's not president, right?
Say again?
It's Congress,
Well,
make law.
yes. Romney can say, I'm going to repeal the law, but he
But
has to
it's
get,
not Congress,
he has to get the House to create the bill, then the Senate has to agree on it, and then it has to go to his desk. If we don't get the agreement down here, it stays.
Yeah, because
You
the
want to
House
hit-
make a law. House make a law.
Yeah, House handles,
Highest.
House handles all bills that involve money. They have to originate in the House. So don't ask me how this bill originated in the Senate, but that's what's supposed to happen. I'll just promise you this. You will never see this law go away completely. Once government gets its tentacles and talons inside of something like that, you'll never see it going away. I have been in the insurance business since 1974. I have seen one law put on the books and 6 months later repealed, and it was the Section 89 non-discrimination rules promoted by Representative Rostenkowski. And that went on the book. It was so complicated that a human being could not run the test. It took a computer program to run it. No way you can do it. Because if you pass this test, you flunked that one, and once you got this one, you flunked this one and this one. So people were writing software programs right and left. And the business community got so offended by this, they went to the Congress and said, you got to get rid of this. And Rostenkowski stood in the well, and he said, I will get this law repealed. With my efforts today, we will get this law repealed. But I will give you something that's twice worse than this. Anybody know what happened to Rostenkowski? Other than he died? He got arrested shortly thereafter for the House postal system fraud. And he went to the big house and served some time. He did not give us that law. It took him 40 years to get that law back on the books. Yes, ma'am.
Question. I think at one time before the Supreme Court to make the ruling, insurance companies a little bit confused where this law is going. So they are not going their opinion. Now it's more insurance company behind this law because they have some certainty. And insurance, going to make some money or what is insurance company's position in general for
Right
this
now,
law?
the insurance companies are scared to death they're going to lose money. Blue Cross, for example, and I can talk about them because this has just recently happened. And I was going to talk about this in the grandfather status. Blue Cross had some 400 plans for the small group market. And on July 1st for renewals and August 1st for new business, they pared that down to 75 plans. Okay, so we no longer have 400 that we can sell, we only have 75. I've been doing this long enough, I've never written 400 plans designed. I mean, a lot of that stuff you just weren't going to use. So when they did that, they did it to streamline their system, to make it more easily operated. Well, right now we're doing renewals with employers, and if you have, as an example, a $1,500 deductible 100% plan, the out-of-pocket was $1,500. All you had was the deductible. You can't buy that plan anymore. The best you can do is $2,500, 100%. So they raised the deductible by $1,000. That's not the big deal. The big deal is if you had a $1,500 80% plan with an out-of-pocket of $2,500, your out-of-pocket now $6,000. Anybody in the room feel good about writing a $6,000 check for going to the hospital and having your appendix taken out or something like that? Neither do I.
But a lot of company now give you what they call high deductible plans.
Yes, they do.
Almost similar as this. So, most people, most employee encourage you to take the high deductible. They even help you to pay some because they try to move you to that type of formula. I think that's probably where big employee is doing anyway.
Well, that high deductible plan you're talking about, the deductible, you can have it taken out of your paycheck before taxes.
Yes.
Okay? And it's designed for the younger folks because they should be able to accumulate more deductible over a period of time. I don't qualify for it. But where the first plan design where the out-of-pocket went to $6,000, this is going to hurt the average consumer badly because they don't have a way of, your employer cannot design a plan that will help you not get financially, have a financial catastrophe because you go to the hospital. That's what they're doing in some instances. They're going to do whatever they can to bring their costs down as much as they can. They've got, in some states, they have done away with agents' commission. I mean, just done away with it. And that means that I may have trouble feeding my family if I don't have a commission in there. So where are you going to get your information? I'm an independent broker, which means I represent a bunch of companies. I guarantee if you go to Blue Cross and ask a question, you'll get a different answer if you come to my company and ask the question. And the reason is, I'm going to give you the broad answer that covers what's going on in the industry. They're going to give you what goes on in their company. That's the thing you got to watch out for, that some of the stuff that they're doing. So they're cutting corners and costs everywhere they want to, but they are concerned about survival.
Yeah,
because
I have some input on this one, because the signal in the both sides, let me see, the Coventry antenna is my kind, right? I'm working on this area. Most recently, those two actual antenna bought Coventry. Because they are think about when this taking impact with lots of, they want to try to save some cost. They're in this year, they have three large acquisitions. One is called Signal bought Tailspring, and the other one is Wellpoint bought American Group.
Yeah.
So those kind of, adjustments, they're merging, so much less insurance company handle all this because they need those adjustments before this law take impact.
So this law will force some insurance company to do some mergers to consolidate their policies so they can make some money.
That's exactly right. We have in Gwinnett, Georgia, we have Blue Cross, Humana, United Healthcare, Coventry, Aetna, and Consumers Life are the six main competitors. There may be somebody else out. Nippon is out there, but to a lesser degree. So now we had 7, now we got 6. And so that's what happened. Those consolidations, the more you consolidate, the more powerful the surviving companies become. And the more, if everybody's offering the same compensation and the same reimbursement all the way down the line, and somebody jacks the rates up, the others will jack the rates up. What are you going to do? Just pay higher rates. And that's counter to our normal free enterprise system where competition determines rate.
But eventually, FTC will come into those monopoly type of situation, like auto industry. When they consolidate to 3 or 4, then they're going to start consolidating. Like Coca-Cola and Pepsi never going to merge, right? Because nobody's going to prove they can merge.
That's right.
Right. So when they down to a certain amount of number, 5, or I don't know what the magic number. Somebody will regulate that kind of activity.
Yes, they already, and their regulations all over the place. Here's what's going to happen in our industry. You're going to watch medical tourism become a big thing, where when you need to have your open heart surgery, you're not going to have it in downtown Atlanta. They're going to fly you to India or to China or to somewhere else. And I mean, India right now has a huge medical tourism, and there's another country, Vietnam.
Thailand.
Where? Thailand. There we go. And if you've seen any of the reports on television, my gosh, you talk about the lap of luxury. I mean, you can die in style there, folks. I'm telling you. They get a free plane ride over.
Because if you pay out of pocket 6,000, you might as well go to Thailand and do the same procedure for 6,000.
Absolutely. Or 3,000.
Yeah, even 3,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
And live in a 5-star hotel. You know.
And then here's the next thing. You heard this live right here on Sunday afternoon. If they ever normalize relationships with Cuba, the United States will go in there and help them raise that entire country, and it'd be built back in one of the most pristine medical tourism sites. Look, the doctor can live in Miami, goes to work in Cuba, comes home at night. See there? It's not like going to Thailand. Oh, any other questions? I don't want to keep you all afternoon.
So in that case, that's why this law is called Obamacare, is that right?
Say that first part again?
Yeah, it's called Obamacare because of what exactly the outcome that might come up with this one.
Sure, sure, absolutely. I mean, you've been here long enough to know that if you tighten the grip over here on this side, the consumer or the entrepreneur finds another way to do it. And it's never been different in this country. I don't care how many laws they put on. Do you have a question?
I'm a medical professional and alternative medicine. I'm a major concern is this policy benefits for medical professional in alternative medicine.
You're concerned that it will not or will provide?
Will provide benefits for.
Oh, you want it? Okay. Yeah, I don't see that going away.
I'm a medical professional. I'm a provider of a lot of health insurance company.
I don't see that going away.
Okay. So benefits in this policy will be MD. I'm not MD, but alternative medicine. So I'm concerned what will be benefits for us.
No.
We have another Dr. Qiao also concerned this.
She's saying that if the Obama qualified medical program, does it include alternative medicine? And I think it does not.
No, I'm not sure that. No, I just pretty much no. It doesn't. You know, if you're thinking about holistic medicine and
No,
stuff like.
you don't know. You said no, or you don't know.
Yeah, this is an insurance company decision, not a government decision. So the insurance companies, by and large, now don't offer that care. Although in some cases, and I couldn't tell you one right now off the top of my head, but in some cases, they're beginning to come around to some of these alternative treatments are better than the other the current methods.
Yeah, they don't cover.
They don't cover them now.
But some of my patients cover. That's why I'm a provider.
Yeah. Some do, but I think
Some do, some cover, some insurance cover.
You have to have a very, very good plan.
Yes, good plan. They pay
But most people cannot afford good plan right
The
now.
best you be healthy, OK？ 这中国人就说，不病就是发财，哎，最重要的 how you do preventive, OK? Healthcare.
So Obama mentioned that at the beginning, in a long term, they will save costs on both ends. So which side less cost, cut costs, insurance company and healthcare provider. That will be, they have to cut their rate. That's why their target goal is long term. They save money for them.
The bad news is that there's not anything in this law that is designed to control or to lower the cost of health care. It's all taxes and increase. So.
But that's what they are.
That's what it was intended.
Yeah, they were trying to.
Yes, sir.
No wonder Nancy Pelosi didn't want us to know what's in the law.
Well, they're still working on that. They're going to have to turn. I'll let y'all go. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
So I think the presentation has Rimmer's contact information. If you need to follow up with him, feel free to do so. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank New York Life one more time. I want to invite all the New York Life agents to come up here, along with Benjamin, so everybody knows. Come on. Just to really thank New York Life's support. and for this event, and also one more time thanks to Rimmer for So Benjamin 刚才讲的那几条，你们记住了吗？你看 quiz 上面。
我跟他一样的。
Anyway， 大家我们感谢这个5月人寿对我们的支持啊，
我们都带。
谢谢。还有 ACP one more time， 谢谢。好吧，后面有那个 trade and snack， so help yourself.
Excellent. I wish everybody had.